Today I want to tackle the issue of I can't afford to blank. And you can put a bunch of different things in here. I can't afford to take a day off of work. I can't afford to go on vacation. I can't afford to take care of my health in this way. I can't afford to go to the gym. I can't afford to. There are a million different things that we can put in there. And I hear it all the time, but I've also felt this. This is something that I have lived. And I don't know. It's a feeling that is difficult. It doesn't matter what stage of life I've been. There's always been something that I feel that I can't afford to. I can't afford to take a week off to do this, or I can't afford to go and do that. And it's not necessarily the financial sense of it. It's there's a lot of people that rely on me, right? I feel bad if I'm not here for people, and that's a problem too, because when we start giving more of ourselves, when we start just laying our own health and our own energy out for other people, it can be a dangerous thing, right? That's where you get in trouble. In fact, it's led me to trouble a couple of times. When I was first graduating from college, I was working 3 or 4 part-time jobs and just running all the time. And sooner or later, I was getting 4 hours of sleep because that's when I had time to sleep. So I would get 4 hours of sleep. I'd go work all day. I'd work into the night and do it over again. And sooner or later, I got really, really sick. I lost 20 pounds in 3 weeks. That's kind of how my autoimmunity began, or how I really found out it. I know it began long before that. There were a lot of signs there that nobody else really put together when we were looking for it. But that's really where it went crazy, and really where it affected my health. Same thing happened when we had our second child. As I was trying to do a lot here at the office, my wife was not feeling well. I was at home trying to do as much as I could there, and I felt like I could take on more and more. And I didn't feel like I could afford to let those things slip. And a lot of those things weren't necessarily huge things that needed to be done right now. They could have been pushed off to another time. They could have been pushed off to a weekend or whatever else. But I felt like I had to do them at that time. So it's not just a financial sense of things. It's that sense of constantly giving. And that time it led to insomnia. I got to the point where I was only getting about 30 minutes of deep and REM sleep combined per night. Really, we should have, really at least 2 hours and pushing 4 hours on that. So, it's a sense of things that we don't want to let things go. We know that we can do this. We know that we can get that done. And that mindset is a powerful thing, because that mindset is going to give you that drive to get the things done that you need to get done. They're going to give you the drive that it takes to get to that next level. So it is a good thing, but we have to put it into moderation. Like, there are going to be times when you need to take care of yourself, right? I'll give you an example from last week. I talk frequently about how if you get stressed out over a period of time, in the early stages, a lot of good things happen for you. That HPA axis, or the cortisol, is actually a good thing in the short term. It's anti-inflammatory. It boosts up your immune system. It drives up your blood sugar, your blood pressure, things like that, to give you more energy to fight and get through the day. All these different things are good in the short term. In the long term, they become problematic. You run out of energy, and your blood sugar and your blood pressure stay up. So you end up with diabetes or high blood pressure. You end up with autoimmunity, or your immune system crashes because you don't have enough energy to run it properly. All these different things start cascading in the wrong direction over time. And last week we had some sickness in the house, and it caught up to me. It was one of those things. I didn't sleep for a couple nights, and you get tired, you push through, and your immune system drops. You get tired, you push through. You can't do it for the long term. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking, I can't afford to do this for my health right now, what are you going to do? You either need to make time for health, or you need to make time for sickness. So what are you going to do to replace that? You need to make time for vacation, or you need to make time for the vacation that you don't want, is another way of putting it. I've heard different mentors throughout the years say that. It may be a long-term sickness, it may be an illness, it may be a breakdown of the body in some way, shape, or form, it may be a breakdown of the mind in some way, shape, or form. So if we don't prepare for those things, if we say that we cannot afford them, sooner or later it can add up and take a massive toll on you. And that's what I'm going to encourage you to do, is look at the areas where you think that you could just push through and keep going, but it's probably not in your best interest. What areas are you thinking that you can, drive results forward by being more present, or, get better numbers by being there all the time, whether that's wages or, your metrics for your job or whatever they are. By doing that, there is a consequence to it. What is the long-term consequence going to be? Is that long-term consequence worth it? And that's the thing you need to explore. Sometimes pushing through is the right thing, but you can only push through for so long. It's one of the reasons a lot of Grant Cardone stuff is really, really good, but the 10x rule I do not like, because, he's like 10x the effort, 10x the time, 10x the money, 10x. You can only do that for so long, right? Because sooner or later you're going to run out of resources if you continue to do that. What are you going to run out of first? Are you going to run out of energy? You're going to run out of attention? You're going to run out of time? You're going to run out of money? What's going to run out first? And that's the thing you really have to weigh. So look at the areas of your life that you're trying to just push through, and you think that going through is the best thing that you can possibly do right now. A lot of people, it's the health. They're sacrificing their health for some other thing, whether that's lack of sleep or poor diet or skipping exercise or whatever that may be. But a lot of people out there are skipping their health to do something else, whether that's increase their wages or get more done or whatever it may be. But a lot of times when I talk to people, that's not the stuff that they tell me is important. They tell me it's their family that's important. They tell me that their health matters to them. They tell me all these other things, but it's not the thing that they're pushing toward. And that's something you have to decide. Nobody can decide this for you, but it's something you have to sit back, you have to look at. What are you pushing through, and what are the long-term consequences going to be? I hope that this is helpful. I love you guys. I appreciate you tuning in. I'll catch you on the next one.